What's going on, everybody? I am Nick Push. Welcome to tonight's live stream where we are here to talk Halloween Ends. And I'm excited tonight because I am joined by a good buddy of mine, another YouTuber, Jake Blaster from Jake Blaster Productions. Blaster, how you doing tonight, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. No problem. Happy to be here.
I was just thinking a few days ago. I have never until tonight had a guest on my channel.
There you go.
So I was going through, and I was turning down. We watched a movie and all kinds of big people. And I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but I figured I want to do that. I want to have you on here for two reasons. Number one, I like your channel. You got great content. And number two, and more importantly, you and I have kind of developed a friendship that started based on our love of the Halloween franchise.
It's true.
So if I was going to have anyone be my first guest, I wanted it to be you. So I'm very happy to have you.
I appreciate it, man. I'm honored. And let me say this: it's nice to be the guest. It's nice to be the guest.
Yes, I can imagine you've been the host numerous times.
I'll be the host at the end of the month for the Road to Ends.
That's true. That's true. Damn, it's our end of this month.
Yeah, it's coming up fast.
Crazy. Okay, so for people that are unaware, why don't you tell them where you can find you, tell them all about your channel, what you do over there, and just kind of give yourself a nice little plug.
Sure. Well, my channel is Jake Blaster Productions, and like Nick's channel, I do a lot of mainly Halloween content, horror content, and stuff like that. But I also do like Cobra Kai and stuff and shows like that. 80s stuff. Top Gun's going to be coming out in May. I'm excited about that. I'll be reviewing that movie. So there's a little bit of everything, but mainly what you'll see on my channel is Halloween content and Cobra Kai content. It's like 98% of my channel. So if you like that kind of stuff, head over and check out my channel and give me a sub if you want to. That'd be much appreciated. And yeah, so
yeah, it's kind of cool because I watched your videos before I actually knew you, and one of the things that I really appreciated about your takes and some of the videos you have out is even when you hate a Halloween movie, even though you hate for instance, H2O. Even when you hate it, you're still able to look at some of the positives. Because even the movies in this franchise that we might not like, we'll still watch. And you're not just gonna bash a movie without hammering home that there are some redeeming qualities and stuff like that. So that's one of the things I always appreciated about your channel, and that's kind of why I started watching you.
I think that. Look, we can all agree that Halloween 1978 is the best film I think in the franchise. I think we can all agree that. After that though, and I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, let's say most people would say Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. After that, throw a coin up. I mean, maybe some people like H2O, some people like 2018, some people like Halloween 4. When you compare that to something like the Friday the 13th franchise, when you say what's the top two Friday movies, most people are going to say 4 and 6, and there's not going to be a lot of wiggle room in there. But you know what I mean? The Halloween franchise is very polarized after the top two movies, I feel. So, but if you watch all these sequels, there's good things in all these sequels. You brought up H2O. I mean, look, I'll say this: I like. There's things I do like about H2O. I don't like it overall as a Halloween movie. I don't think it feels like a Halloween movie. But Jamie Lee Curtis is great in that movie. The ending is great. Even the beginning is great. It's just that stuff in the middle that's kind of I have a problem with. But even Halloween 5, Halloween 6. We'll watch these movies like you said. Halloween 5's on, you'll watch it. It's bad, but you're gonna watch it. The only one that I won't is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I can't get through that movie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I've seen it twice now. Once in the theater and once last year at the watch party on your channel. And
yeah,
I was dozing off, man. I couldn't do it. I tried. But yeah, so piggybacking off of that, just to kind of give people that might be new to your channel or new to you, kind of a gauge into your Halloween fandom. Why don't you tell us your favorite sequel in the franchise, and then also your least favorite sequel in the franchise. And then we'll get into some ends talk, which I know people came here to do.
Sure, sure. So my favorite sequel is Halloween 2, 1981. For a lot of reasons, I think it's the perfect ending. I think Loomis sacrificing himself and knowing that he's going to die with Myers to save Laurie is the perfect. If you're going to have, I mean, look, Halloween 1978 is a one and done film. It doesn't need a sequel. If you want to watch more, if you want to, pick it up, Halloween 2 is a great segue. It goes right into it. It's the same night. It feels like the same night. It's shot by Dean Cundey as well as the original, so it feels aesthetically like the same movie. Dick Warlock, I think I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's the worst. I think he gets a lot of undue criticism. But Halloween 2 is great. It's got a lot. It's a little slow in the middle, a little bit. It drags a little bit, but I think it's far and away the best sequel, and I don't think anything's come close. As far as the worst, yeah, it's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's awful. Well, I'll say this. I will say this, and I think we're going to get into this because we're going to talk about ends. The one thing I'll say about Rob, the one thing I can appreciate, even though I think he missed the boat and didn't stick the landing, is he did something different. He tried something different. And it's got a cult following. Some people really love it. Some people kind of are middle of the road on it. I'm one of the people that, it just doesn't do it for me. But I will give Rob credit. He tried something different.
Yeah, if he just would have done the same old thing, we'd be bitching about that. It just so happens that his vision for Halloween 2 wasn't, something that appeals to you and I think.
Right.
And I'm not going to watch it again. Even on your watch party, man, I ain't showing up there.
I mean, again, there's a couple of scenes that stick out to me. The hospital dream sequence is great. And Brad Dourif, I mean, well, he's phenomenal. Guy's a phenomenal actor. That scene where he finds Annie is one of the best scenes in the franchise. So, like we just said, we can find redeeming qualities or find good things to say about every movie, even Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Those scenes are great, and they really stand out. But we when we say we don't like it, we're talking about overall, the movie overall. There's bits and pieces of things that you might point to and say I like that or like that. But yeah,
yeah, I'm with you. I agree on both of those choices. Same here. Okay, so let's talk some Halloween ends.
Yeah.
I have some topics here that we're going to discuss,
Okay.
and then we're going to kind of get into the chat. So, chat, if you're watching and you have some questions that you want us to ask or want us to answer, feel free to get them down. We're going to get to them at the end,
Cool.
and we'll go from there. So, obviously, we've both made numerous videos, as you remind me, about Halloween ends so far. So we've got a lot of our thoughts out there already. So I kind of chose some topics that I thought that we haven't really discussed yet that we can get into. And obviously, I'm sure as we're discussing these topics, we'll get into, bits and pieces of certain things, whether it's the radio tower or where's Michael Ben and all that. So
Sure.
First question for you, man. What is your biggest concern with this movie?
I have a few. My biggest concern is going to be the ending of the movie. I made a video about will they kill Myers? And I brought up the whole thing about the contract with Mustafa Akkad. Is it still around? Is it still intact? Who knows? It may not be. It may or may not be. Who knows? But I just don't. And this is going to sound hypocritical because I just said I liked Halloween 2 because of the ending. I just don't feel that these guys, based off of what I've seen story-wise in 18 and in Kills, I don't feel they're going to be able to stick this landing. That might be a pessimistic view, and I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that when we see this movie, I say, wow, that's a great ending. I do feel like they're going to kill him, and I feel like I'm going to hate it. But I don't know. Who knows? I could be wrong. But I think that's one of my concerns is how are they going to end it? I would like them to I'd like them to have some kind of a philosophical ending to it, something that kind of leaves us thinking, much in the same vein as Halloween 1978. And at the end of 78, you're left with a lot more questions than you are answers. And that's how it was intended to be. That's how the character was built. And that's what John Carpenter really wanted to drive home at the end of that movie, is that evil never dies and you can't kill the boogeyman. And that's the whole point of Halloween 1978. And I would kind of like them to leave it on something like that, but I don't think they're going to. So that would be my biggest concern among some others.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pressure on them here, to end the trilogy, their new trilogy, the
Mhm.
right way. They're smart enough to know they're not going to please all of us crazy fans.
True.
But how can they do it where it drives home the message and, is appealing or satisfying for a lot of us? I have kind of racked my brain on how I would do it, and I got nothing. I don't know how how you do it. I've thought about, okay, having just Michael win. Okay, I've thought about having Laurie and Michael die together and then cut to black.
Yeah.
I just but touching on what you said about the philosophicalness, I'm with you on that. I think you kill him and then I don't know, have us question something, but not something where you kill him and then there's an end credit sequence of him sitting up or something like that. So I just don't know how you do it, and there's a lot of pressure on these guys, and it's crazy that it's already filmed.
Yeah, and there is. And look, I mean, and it's hard to make movies. It's hard to make any movie because you always got people like me and you that are going to sit there and criticize it, and that just comes with the territory. And these people that make these movies know that that's part of it. And like I said, for me, I think story wise, I'll say this: the best thing I can say about Kills and 18 so far, the best thing I could say about this new trilogy is they've fucking nailed Myers. I mean, like, no, you can go back. You can say you love Halloween 4, and I do. Halloween 5, 6, H2O. That nobody has nailed the character. Nobody has portrayed the character as awesome as James Jude Courtney has. And give Christopher Nelson a lot of credit with the 2 masks, the one in 18 and in Kills. Both were amazing. So in that respect, I think they've done an awesome job. Where I think they've kind of fallen behind is in the story. And so when you talk about Halloween Ends, you got to go all the way back and talk about Halloween 2018. And friend of ours, Gary, we've talked about this a lot, that aside from Laurie being a little Sarah Connor-ish in 2018, it's pretty much the same thing as H2O, dude. It's pretty much, I mean, as far as the trauma and the drinking and the emotional, dude, we've seen it before. And that's, I guess, what I want to see in Ends. I want to see something give me something we haven't seen. We talked about this, you and I, the other day, and I said, I have a feeling that they're going to end this and they're going to make another little kid the killer. And because there was a casting call for an angry-faced little kid. There was a specific casting call that went out for that. And then Jamie Lee Curtis saying this movie is going to piss people off. So are they going to end it where Myers dies and passes the torch, so to speak? We've seen that before, guys. And it really, I don't know. Can you do it any better than they did it in Halloween 4? One of the best endings in the franchise. I mean, it's like, I guess what I want to see with Ends is something new. Give me something that maybe I haven't seen before,
Yeah, I'm with you. Like we talked about, people are going to pitch either way. Give us.
Right.
I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
And that being said, the movie's going to come out, and I'm going to be shocked, and I'm going to be sitting here bitching about it. But yeah, at least I'll I'll be able to give them some credit if they surprise me. If this is just another run of the mill, Laurie Allison, Michael's just after them, and somehow they defeat him. I don't know how, because I don't know how he can take any more damage than he's already taken here.
He's taken a lot of damage.
But if it's just some run of the mill thing, obviously it's all in the execution. But I think they gotta go out on a limb, whether it's like you said, passing the torch. But how are you gonna do that better? I
don't know. And we've seen it before.
Yeah.
And we've seen it before, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why, so for me, when I went to the movie theater to watch Halloween 2018, I was amped up. I really was excited. I said, okay, this is the definitive sequel to Halloween 1978. I went in there thinking this movie at best could be as good or better than Halloween 2. So my expectations were through the roof, and my expectations were not met. So I was pretty disappointed. I think 18 is a decent Halloween movie. I think it's one of the better sequels. But again, it's all relative. I mean, you say one of the better sequels, the bar is like on the floor for one of the better sequels. You know what I'm saying? And so when I went into Kills, my expectations were down, and I enjoyed it. Look, Kills, the dialogue, yes, I get the acting and all that. All that criticism is fair. I just love Kills because I think James Jude Courtney, as great as he was in 2018, was better in Kills. And Myers, it was a great Myers. It was brutal. I loved all the shit with the Myers house, the flashback, and all that stuff. So that really is why I put Kills ahead of 18. But as far as ends goes, I mean, my expectations are just gonna, they're gonna be very low. So, I hope that they prove me wrong. I hope that when I come on to do my ends spoiler review, I come out and tell everybody that, hey, I was wrong. Was a good ending, and I hope so.
Yeah. I think we both made videos last year, and we had numerous conversations last year where and maybe not we, but me specifically, I was going nuts about the flashback. I was furious that they were doing it. And then an image came out from the flashback, and I had a meltdown over that image.
I did too.
Yeah, and then the flashback happened. I was in the theater, and I started gripping the seat, and I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was in 78 again. They nailed it. They nailed it. I mean, was it perfect? No, but it was better than I could ever dream of.
Well, it wasn't perfect, but you know what? You can't do a flashback better than that. You can't do it better. You could say, exactly. Whatever you want, but then that's the thing is like, so I read the script, and it was hard when I talked to you not to tell you it was in the script. I wanted so badly to tell you, but excuse me, when I heard that Loomis had speaking lines, that's where I was like, whoa, how are you going to do this? And that part of the flashback with Loomis, the dialogue was it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
But everything else in the flashback was really good. The Myers house looked great. They got the fucking wallpaper correct. I mean, the gutter smashing the window was there. Yeah. So the attention to detail
the score was perfect.
And so you got your old, exactly. You got a lot of the 78 score in there, and I think again, so that's why I say, like, to give these guys, I don't want to feel like I'm just bashing these guys, because I do like a lot of what they've done. I think it's like a 50-50. It's like a mixed bag, but their attention to detail is, you can't knock them for that. I mean, it's pretty spot on.
Okay, so what, other than seeing James Jude Courtney again as Myers, what's something that excites you about Halloween Ends? Let's get a little more positive here, because on my channel I've been complaining a lot, and let's get positive here. So, is there anything offhand that you can think of that really excites you, or that you're really looking forward to seeing here?
Yeah. I think we're going to get a character who we don't know yet, or why don't I say we don't know? I think we're going to, other than Lindsay, Allison, Hawkins, other than the characters we know that are going to be in the movie, I think we are going to get a surprise character, and I'm excited to see who that's going to be. Is it going to be Ben Tramer? I did that video the other day about, could it be a relative of Loomis? How would you feel about that? Could it be Judith's boyfriend? I mean, he would be 75 or 76 years old, or somewhere in that age range. And, what could he come back? So, I don't know if it would be the actor, but
what about Paul? Right, Annie's Paul.
Oh, Annie's boyfriend. See, the problem with people like that, though, with Paul and I'm just trying to think of other. Dick Baxter was brought up in and you know what I mean. But they're such side characters that would it really matter to see them back? I think it's going to be somebody where it's recognizable. We know who that character is. I don't want it to be anybody from Halloween 2 onward. But I do think we are going to see somebody that a surprise character. So I'm excited to see who that's going to be.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think for me, what excites me is, after all the hoopla and craziness and ridiculousness in some ways of Halloween Kills, I'm excited to have a smaller scale story similar to, in theory, similar to
That's a good point.
78. And
Yeah,
Kills
that's
was
a
what
good
I
point.
expected it to be. I went in and I was fine with that because it was essentially the
Yep.
second part of a trilogy. So I expected, I knew they weren't going to turn down the possibility of showing us Michael Myers escape from a burning building with firefighters. Did I want to see it? No, but I
Yeah.
accepted it, and it was fucking cool to see. Like,
I love that when he came out of that gun safe, man. That was
yeah,
fucking pretty
yeah,
badass. I love that
yeah.
scene.
It was. So smaller scale
Mhm.
gives us the chance. You combine a smaller scale with the chance that probably, maybe, who knows, the characters may think he's dead or he's vanished. So they're not going to be looking for him, right? Maybe, in theory, let's say they're not looking for him. That gives us more opportunities for maybe him to be in the background of some scenes, kind of like with Annie in the OG, when she's in the kitchen and he's kind of in the background. And
More stalking, more of the
yeah,
stalking,
yeah.
working.
Exactly. And it's not going to be 78. An audience in 2022 would not
Yep.
accept that. Like, I think we both understand that, but just give us a little more, give us a chase scene.
Well, a little bit, like give. See, this is why people are gonna go, here goes Jake with the Cobra Kai. But just real quick, that's what I think Cobra Kai has done so well. They have a new story with new characters, but they also give you enough with the old characters that people like me that grew up with the Karate Kid and Karate Kid 2 and Karate Kid 3, we're like, oh, this is great. It has a little bit for everybody. So with Halloween, let's have a little bit for the new audience and give the old guys, the people like us that are purists, give us some stalking scenes, give us some working scenes, old school 78. Here's one thing I want them to do: slow the pace of the movie down. I feel like 18 and Kills, I feel like both movies were just such fast pace, especially going from the second act to the third act. Both movies were just like warp speed. Slow it down a little bit. And I agree with you. The fact that it's more of an intimate story, maybe they'll be able to do that. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because with the time jump, which I know we both have our concerns with,
Yes.
We're going to need to catch up on where these characters are after 4 years, not just, physically, but kind of emotionally and mentally. So maybe, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but maybe we'll see Myers in the opening scene or something. And then maybe we'll go 20 or 30 minutes, maybe without seeing Myers. And then, we'll forget we're watching a Halloween movie and he'll show up. I don't know. They have to, like you're saying, slow it down. They have to give us some character moments here, just so we know where these characters are emotionally, because we're going to need an emotional payoff at the end, whether it's Laurie or Allison or whoever. We're going to need to know what they've been going through the past 4 years, or how they've gotten over or haven't gotten over what happened that night.
Well, and just to give like the people in the chat for instance of what I'm talking about when I say slow it down, we'll go back to 2018 when Allison sees Oscar impaled on that gate, and then she sees the shape for the first time. Think about what's going through Allison's mind. Holy shit, my grandmother was right. There he is. Yeah. Dude, draw that scene out. That scene was had a great score, one of the best scores in the entire franchise. Draw that scene out. Have Allison kind of, have him, it's stalking her and working. That would have just been great. But that's what I'm saying. A little bit more of that. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. Where do you think Lindsay Wallace is going to kind of fall in this? What kind of role do you think she's going to play in this movie? I haven't had a chance to really discuss that with anyone, really, because I've been so focused on different theories like the radio tower and all that shit. But I haven't really thought too much about Lindsay. Obviously, we got that still photo with Lindsay, with Lindsay, Allison, and Laurie in a bar, which people were dissecting 3 actresses standing there, but
promotional photo.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think
that's how starved we are for Halloween End stuff?
No kidding, dude. No kidding.
And they've done a good job.
Play a huge role, or no?
A huge role. No. I liked her. I thought Kyle Richards did a great job in Halloween Kills. For what they asked her to do, I thought she did a really good job. I enjoyed her in Kills. And I think in Ends, I haven't thought about this really either, but I think maybe we'll, we'll pick up with her 4 years later. I mean, the movie is going to start 4 years later. According to David Gordon Green, they're going to start in 2022. So, maybe she's living in Haddonfield with Laurie. Maybe they're all trying to kind of move past the events of 18. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they're all waiting for him or thinking he's going to come back. But, yeah, I haven't really thought about Lindsay that much and where she's going to be. I would say, I don't think her role is going to be a big role. I don't think she's going to die in this movie. I tell you that. I thought about that. I'm like, who's going to go in this movie? And I don't think Lindsay's going to die in this movie. I think she makes it through all the way to the end.
I agree with you. My thought was, and it's an obvious thought, so it's not breaking any new ground, but I'm guessing she is playing kind of more of a maternal-ish role towards Allison, after the
that could
events.
Be. Yeah, it could be.
And not like, it's not like Allison's living with her or anything, but, kind of like an aunt maybe, where she comes in, checks.
But maybe it's brought all of them together. Maybe that what happened, what they've all been through, has brought them all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, and Allison's obviously, she's almost had it worse than Laurie had in '78. To be honest,
I mean, she lost both of her parents. She lost her friends.
She saw Cameron. She saw Cameron. Basically.
Cameron. Yeah, she's had it rough. So. Yeah, I think Allison's going to have her moment, though. I do think Allison's going to have her moment in this film. Her standout moment, and I gotta be honest. I've liked Andi Matichak. I've liked her in these movies. I think she's been really good. In these movies, she's a really good new character, and so I'm excited. One thing I would be excited is to see where they're going to go with Allison in this movie.
As you're kind of talking about that, I was kind of thinking, do they go? I don't think they will, but an option would be to go kind of the Scream 2022 route, where you have Laurie kind of in the background a little bit, and it focuses maybe on Allison and some of her new friends. That's one thing I thought Scream 2022 did a very good job with. We've seen Dewey and Gail and Sydney go up against Ghostface. Now put them in the mentor role a little bit.
They did. I agree with you.
Yeah, so I know people were pissed about that, and they still want to see Sydney again and stuff like that. It's at a certain point, it's time to move on.
Well, that's why the whole thing with Laurie, I think there's a little bit of Laurie Strode fatigue. Just because she's been in so many, and it's one thing I liked about Kills 2 is she took a back seat in Kills. I don't know if she's going to take that kind of back seat in this movie. I think she's going to be more front and center. But yeah, I think this is going to be the end of Laurie Strode as well. It may be the end of Myers, but I definitely think this is going to be the end of Laurie.
You took my next question.
I hope it's not just. Die? Yeah. Well, let's just jump right into that. I think she is going to die. I think what's going to happen is, follow me here. I think they're going to find their way on top of a building, and as she's trying to rip his mask off, he's gonna stab her, and then he's just gonna drop her right to the ground, and Laurie's gonna be toast.
Hey, they're good with the homages, So could you imagine if they did that?
My God. My God, we would.
That'd be great.
We would. Just
I mean, I'm with you though. I think she's gonna die for a couple of reasons. Number one, it makes sense thematically.
Yeah.
And number two, Jamie Lee Curtis, as much as she has enjoyed coming back for this trilogy, she's got her message that she wanted to, kind of be included about trauma into the franchise that enabled her to come back, I believe. She's not going to want to come back again, and I don't blame her, so there's got to be some definitive end to that character. So I think Jamie Lee Curtis is going to either want her to A, die saving Allison, or B, killing Myers once and for all. So.
I've always felt that it's going to be something where Allison's going to have to kill Myers, but in doing so, it's also going to kill Laurie. So Laurie's going to be telling her, do it, Ooh. And then Allison's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know how or why. I haven't really kind of fleshed that idea out, but I kind of just think it's going to be something like that. And that I think is going to be Allison's big moment, because Allison needs a big moment, and she deserves it, and she definitely should get it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. like you said earlier, Andy Matichak's done a pretty good job.
Yeah,
Especially
I've liked her
especially
character.
yeah, tough circumstances too. Um, she was kind of front and center a little bit in 2018, but then not really.
Yeah,
It ended up then at the Strode house, Laurie's house, and Allison took a back seat, and then she got some good moments in Halloween Kills. You know,
right.
kind of disobeying her mom. She wanted to go with Cameron and the mob to find Myers, and then with her and Cameron going the Myers
She got a
house
couple
over
good
by.
stabs in on Myers too.
She did, and then she fell down
Yeah,
the stairs, and
yeah,
Michael was about to stab her right before Karen hit him with the pitchfork, and she's like, "Do
yeah.
it."
He was. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
so yeah, it'll just be interesting what her psyche kind of is. I personally think she's going to. Here's kind of what I think Laurie and Allison are going to be like in this movie. I think, and I could be way off on this. I usually am, but I think Laurie is going to be on the outside, externally to the world, going to be pretending that everything is good.
moved on.
She's moved on essentially.
Yep.
And the reason I think she's going to want to do that is she's gonna not want Allison to end up like she was, where she was just obsessed with this
That's a good
evil.
point.
So she's gonna want to show Allison, that you can mentally, get past this. Don't end up like me. Don't let this trauma define you.
Yeah,
So Laurie's on the exterior going to be like that, but I think there could be a scene where maybe she goes down to the basement and she's got different sightings of Myers and she's secretly tracking him or some shit
yeah.
like that. It could be interesting. So who knows though?
Yeah, I see. I think, and this is kind of Monday morning quarterback, but, I think going back, and I thought about this today because I was thinking about what we were going to talk about. And how much, instead of playing Lori the way they played her in 18, kind of a recluse, crazy lady, Sarah Connorish, kind of waiting for Michael to escape, and this would have connected the movie a lot better to the 78 film. How about if he's just gone? He's not captured and he's just gone. He's gone from the lawn. Nobody knows where he went. Maybe he went and, maybe he and Laurie for 40 years. He's coming back. He's coming back. And the town is like, no, he's dead. Loomis shot him 6 times. And yeah, maybe he wasn't there on the lawn. Maybe he bled out down the street somewhere. Who knows? But maybe, that would have been, I think, a different way to go. And Laurie could have been more of a Loomis type character in 18. I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but I thought about that today and then if you went that route, how that could have had her role change in Kills and then in Ends, but I think you're right. I think that's probably the way they're going to play Laurie here is, she's probably going to still be thinking he's out there, but trying to move past it for Allison's sake. I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah. What about getting to another character? What about Hawkins? What kind of role do you think he's going to play? Have you heard anything? Has anyone in your videos, sometimes, a lot of times in my videos, I get or a lot of my ideas come from comments that people make.
Yep.
Where I'm like, oh, that's an interesting point. And that kind of makes me, my wheels turn where then I kind of
Right.
have my opinion based off of that. So have you heard anything that is kind of about Hawkins that has made you kind of think he may play a significant role or, any kind of role at all that he might play?
Well, first of all, like you just said about the comments, and anybody watching after the fact, comment down below. Let us know what you guys think about what we're talking about here, because we really do like the comments, and we really do feed off of the comments. That is true. And some people have made some good comments on my videos. I'll bring one up after I answer the Hawkins question. But I think Hawkins is going to play a pretty significant role in this film. Who knows what his full recovery? I think we'll see a recovery. Well, who knows what that is going to be? Is Hawkins now permanently damaged? Is he wheelchair bound? Is he moving around? What 4 years later, what is Hawkins like? Because in Halloween Kills, he's in pretty rough shape. But I think he is going to be a front and center character in this movie. I think he might meet his end, his demise, but I think it'll be front and center. I haven't heard much about. I haven't heard really anybody speculate about Hawkins, really, but I think it'll definitely be a bigger role than he had in 18, and certainly a bigger role than he had in Ends. But I think you're gonna, because I think, like you said, it's gonna be a smaller scale, so we're gonna have less characters, so that's gonna give everybody more screen time. Everybody's gonna have a bigger role, I think, in this film. which is good. I think, that's one of the things in Kills that we just got too many characters. And there wasn't enough time for all these characters to be reintroduced, and they were all kind of killed off unceremoniously. And so I think, yes, he'll have a bigger role. What that will be, I haven't really thought that far into the future yet. But
Yeah, it's an interesting character. And guys in the chats, we'll get to some of your questions in a few minutes here. But it's funny because after 2018, I think we all agreed, maybe not all of us, but I know you and I kind of agreed, that we liked that character. We liked the actor. And we always said, we always
he's a great
why
actor.
wasn't he the why wasn't he the sheriff?
Yeah.
So then you say you read the script. If you take the story of Halloween, Hawkins' story of Halloween Kills on paper, just reading it.
Yes.
You take it, okay, so Hawkins somehow survives. Hawkins has the flashback scene where he has, a chance to kill Myers. He ends up shooting his partner instead on accident. And then Loomis is going to kill Myers and Hawkins stops him. On paper, I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
that's awful.
It was weird to read it. And it really felt like, when I read it, it really felt like, oh, this is gonna suck. That's what it felt like.
But
I liked his stuff, though. I just have to cut you off, but I liked his background stuff in Kills. I think they've played him actually perfectly. I think a lot of the questions, like you just said, why wasn't he the sheriff? I think in Halloween Kills, we found out why he wasn't the sheriff, right? He's got all this baggage. He killed his partner. He covered it up. He's got to be guilt-ridden for the rest of his life about it. You know what I'm saying? So Hawkins is, I really like they've dug into his character, and I hope they kind of bring it full circle. And again, Hawkins has a moment where, he has his big moment too,
Yeah, I really enjoyed what they did with him. You take the flashback scene and you weave it in with his scenes in the hospital as they did with him and Laurie, and just the way Will Patton, and
it gives much more depth to his character.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's always a good thing. So
yes. Yeah. So they kind of made it where he, not to the full extent that Laurie Strode does, especially now that he's killed her daughter and stuff like that, but he has this history with Myers and guilt about Myers and and things like that. So they did a fantastic job. So I think he's got to play, if not a significant role, he's got to play a role. And you could make an argument. Role. Yeah, you could make an argument that he should be the one to kill Myers.
Maybe he's the one. Maybe he's the one that is thinking that he's going to come back. And maybe Laurie is telling him, no, he's not going to come back. But I don't know. I take it back because Laurie did know Myers was alive. Depending on which cut of the movie you watched, especially at the end of the extended cut, she definitely knows he's alive. So yeah, I take that back. But I think maybe Hawkins is going to be more of the person that's tracking him, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, this is why I say it's all fun to speculate all this stuff, but we really haven't gotten anything from this movie, anything at all, aside from that Megan Baxter billboard, which I think you'll bring up. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, what I kind of envision it being like, if you've ever seen the movie Striking Distance with Bruce Willis. That's a great movie. Remember where like
Sarah
the guy
Jessica
is
Parker,
like,
right?
Yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker. But remember, the killer is like assumed dead, and then all of these random killings start happening again, and Bruce Willis is like tracking these killings, like where they're finding the bodies. I think that's kind of the same thing we're going to see here, where maybe there's some killings and they're tracking it, and they think it's Myers. I also threw out this idea. Let me bounce this off of you. Let me turn this around on you.
Yeah.
What about? And I'm not saying for the whole movie, and guys in the chat, everybody in the chat, let me know what you think about this. But what about for like maybe the first quarter of the movie, you have a copycat killer and then Myers shows up? How would you feel about that?
Oh, boy.
Did I just piss everybody off?
I think everyone left, but I'll answer that in a second. Let's just, I just want to take a moment. We do have a super chat. It looks from our buddies. All the good names are taken podcast.
Good guys.
Send in a super chat. We'll get to your question below in a second. First of all, thank you. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Ronnie.
It's a great podcast, guys. They're buddies of ours.
Yes.
They
check
have
it
a
out.
podcast. So if you just search for that, I think on the podcast app on Apple or something. That's usually
Yeah,
what
and anywhere you can find
um,
podcasts, you'll find them.
yeah, you should be able to find them. And we'll answer
SoundCloud,
their
stuff like
question.
that.
Yeah, we'll answer their question in a second about the junkyard. Copycat killer. I knew that was copycat killer for the first half of the movie.
Maybe not for the first half, but maybe for the first like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. I don't know, but not not for the whole movie, but
Yeah.
for a portion of it. Would you feel okay about that? And maybe that's how Michael gets a new mask. Maybe he steals it from the copycat killer.
That could be interesting.
Because that's the other thing here. And I'll let you answer the copycat killer thing, but let me pose another quote. What the fuck kind of mask are we looking at here in this movie?
I don't know. I think it's going to be, what we discussed on your channel. I think I can't remember if it was Josh or Bud who brought it up, but where it's kind of a Leatherface looking patched up
it's beat
mask
to
or
shit.
something.
Let's be honest. That mask is taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And it's 40 years old.
Like I mentioned, in the past, it's not going to look exactly the same as Halloween Kills because they are going to want to sell these masks, right? It's what, $50, $60 a pop, times 7% inflation or whatever the hell it's going to be by October times 50% inflation. You're looking at $100 a mask or whatever. So I think it's going to look significantly different. The one thing I will say, and I'm sure you'll agree with it, is I'm going to trust him on this. Like you said earlier, the one thing they have consistently nailed in 2018
they haven't let us down
has been Myers.
True.
I don't think we realized when watching these sequels growing up, what we were missing. If you insert this Myers into any of the other sequels, holy shit, they're
well, that's what I mean. Like insert James Jude Courtney with this mask into Halloween H2O. It's dramatically a better movie.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest criticism about that movie, and this fixes. I mean, so and it makes Halloween 4. If they had a mask like in Kills, and that if they had that in 4. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing I think. Again, that's one thing that I really, really have enjoyed about these new movies is James Jude Courtney as Myers. For sure.
Yeah, agreed. All right, to answer your copycat killer question, I don't know, man.
You hate it. Yeah, I know you hate it. It's okay.
I wouldn't say I hate it. Fine, I hate it. But you know how it is. Every stupid theory you hear, and this is a stupid theory. I'm just kidding.
It's all we can do at this point.
I know. But every theory you hear, we can sit here and be like, oh, I don't really like that. I don't really like that. But it's all in the execution.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
There is a way that you could execute that if they made it interesting. And, then there's a big moment where
it's true.
Their money shot essentially with Myers killing this guy and putting on the mask or whatever, and the Halloween theme plays or something, that could be gold. So who knows? It could work. Will they do it? I doubt it. But
nah, they won't. They won't.
But it could be interesting. So you're gonna have to refresh my memory, Blaster. This question that All the Good Names Are Taken podcast asked about the junkyard theory. Do you remember the junkyard theory? Have you heard anything about that?
I believe, Ronnie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's just that Michael's been living in the junkyard for 4 years.
So instead of cave dwellers like everyone's anticipating as a cave, he's been living in a junkyard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Blaster?
I just have a lot of Halloween 5 things going through my mind right now. I have a lot of, is he gonna wake up from like sleeping on a slab and just like sit up and put the mask on?
Yeah, and a junkyard. So what is he like? Is he?
He's got to be somewhere, I guess. He's got to be somewhere.
Maybe. Hold on. Maybe he finds the old station wagon in a junkyard, and he's out there.
Wow, there you go.
He's putting new rims on it. He's working on the carburetor or whatever, and he's souping it up.
He's turning into a mechanic. Yeah,
on the car. Yeah. I guess that brings up the question: does it really matter where he's been for 4 years?
No, because
location wise.
No, because I mean, look, I think this is gonna be people are gonna be like, what? after watching my videos on my channel. I think we're all getting way too literal about where he's been. Yeah, has he been pissing? Has he been shitting? I mean, come on, like, we have to suspend some disbelief a little bit. He is the shape. And like I said, I like the fact that it's one thing I like about H2O. He's just gone. He's gone and then he shows up. I do like that. I don't need to know what he's been doing. I don't need to know in H2O if he paid the tolls from Illinois to California. Did he stop at the toll booth? Does he have an easy pass? I don't know. But like these are all questions that when you get down to being that literal, that's when you really just start to ruin it for yourself. Because really, I mean, let's be honest. We could watch any movie, not just Halloween, the Halloween franchise, Friday the 13th, or any franchise, or we could watch the Die Hard franchise and pick things apart if we want to be so freaking literal about it. But no, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I know. Seriously, it's the second Bruce Willis. But I feel bad for Bruce.
Yeah, I know.
It's sad. But it's I know I don't really need to know it where he's been. I mean, I just, you know what? I don't want to see him captured. We've seen that many times. Please don't give us he's captured. And I don't think they will. I think they know that we've seen that so many times that I think they're going to go with the fact that he's just been gone. He's out there. Somebody made, I can't remember where I heard this, but somebody made the suggestion that cave dwellers just could be the town of Haddonfield because of COVID. And that brings up the whole thing of how much of a role COVID is going to play in the film. I don't know if we wanted to get into that, but anyway, I think that somebody brought up the fact that cave dwellers could be in reference to that. People being, having lockdowns and all that stuff, and that that could be because it is cave dwellers. It's not cave dweller,
right?
Right. It is plural. So, but yeah, no. As far as Myers, I don't need to know where he's been. Just he's gone, and he never showed back up, and that would make the whole thing about them kind of he's coming back. It's almost like crying wolf. You know what I mean? That would kind of bring that home a little bit more than having him just captured again.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the chat. Sorry, I'm laughing at Ronnie. Give me my money back. must not have liked the answer.
No refunds, Ronnie. No refunds. I will take it up with him after the show.
Yeah, right. But okay, so we talked about where's Myers been. You brought up the billboard earlier.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, there is a billboard that was seen. I don't know how you describe it. I guess a leaked photo is what you'd say. So if this is your warning right now, we're not going to show the photo, but we're going to talk about it. It's just a billboard that has some words on it. But if you want zero spoilers, this is your warning to either mute us or go away for 5 minutes and come back.
Just mute us for a couple minutes if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a billboard with a girl. I think her name's Megan Baxter. It's basically saying she's missing, and the date on there is probably the most interesting thing. Besides,
it's October 30th, right? October 30th.
It's October 30th, 2021.
21.
So yeah. Obviously, something there's a reason for it. Do you think Myers has been randomly killing in those 4 years? Do you think he's since she's missing, did he abduct a girl and change his MO like Jason in the 2009 remake? What's going on here?
No, I think that kind of plays into what we were talking about, right? About the tracking Myers, but maybe that's one of the things they're tracking, this missing girl. Maybe that's like the first, because we have a 4-year time jump. So maybe that's the first kind of card to fall.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh wow, this girl's missing. Maybe it's Myers because it has his MO and stuff like that. So I just think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be a nod to we brought up Dick Baxter from the first movie, and I'm sure all diehard Halloween fans know, but Dick Baxter, when Annie and Laurie are in the car in '78, and Annie says, you could ask somebody to go to the dance. And Laurie goes, no, I couldn't. She said, well, you could ask Dick Baxter. He'd go out with you. So the theory is kind of, it's a nod to Dick Baxter from, because he was mentioned in Halloween 1978, which.
Yeah. And that's fine. That a subtle little nod like that. It is completely fine. I don't know. I don't think, it's a I don't think it is, Myers has been killing all four Halloween, or would that be three? Every Halloween since 2020, since from 2018 to
No, I don't think it's gonna be.
2022. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
he
it'll be
just
anything
comes
like
out
that
on
either.
Halloween and kills,
No, I don't
you
think it'll be
know.
anything like that. But I think like I said, it might be the first little like you said, breadcrumb for them. And so who knows? That's
Yeah.
what I think anyway.
Yeah. Lonnie Bush send in $10 super sticker. Thank you, Lonnie. Really
Lonnie,
appreciate
thanks,
it.
man.
Thank you so much. So yeah, it could bring an interesting dynamic, the billboard, depending on what they do with it.
Yeah.
Was it leaked for a reason, so people like us can speculate, and who
Yeah.
the hell knows.
And maybe it's kind of throw people off the scent. I think one thing is that because Kills was pretty much spoiled, and I think they know
Yeah.
that Kills, it was spoiled and stuff was leaked out, the script and all this other stuff. I think that maybe they're thinking maybe they might be throwing that out there just to kind of throw us off the track. Maybe we're talking about that, or we're talking about the radio tower, or we're talking about all this other stuff. Maybe it's not going to be that big of a deal. Could be there,
Yeah,
they're trying
I
to.
agree. I agree. All right, we're gonna go, guys, for about another 10 minutes, and then we're gonna answer some questions in the chat. So if you have any questions for us to answer, make sure you get them in, and we'll get as many of them as we can. Obviously, if you can tell, we start talking about one topic and it leads to another, and we like to talk about this kind of shit. So there's no way we're gonna get to them all. So just we'll do our best, but if you want your question answered, make sure you get them in the chat.
Yep.
Let's talk about Myers real quick here.
Yeah.
Obviously, he sustained a great deal of damage, as we mentioned earlier. Is he supernatural again? Did they bring him back? Did they go all the way back to the roots of him being human again, him just being a guy that's not after his sister, that's just, maybe a hint of supernatural? Did they screw up at the end of Kills and make him supernatural? What are your thoughts on that? Are we going to have some is it going to be full on supernatural in Halloween Ends, or what do you think?
Yeah, he's full on supernatural. There's no way. I mean, there's just no way that a human can survive what he's not just in Kills, but even in 18. I mean, the guy got hit by a car doing 70 miles an hour, right in his, just got hit. Like, you don't think he doesn't have bodily organs that doesn't, that would kill somebody right away. I mean, so, and then the fact that in Kills, the mob, he's shot at point blank range. Yes, he at this point, for me, at least in my opinion, is, supernatural. When you go back to what Carpenter intended, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said that he wanted to raise this character of Myers up. Yes, he's human, but he wanted him to be more like a myth or a force that can't be denied. Yes, he got a little superhuman edge to him. Who knows how he got that way? That's basically what Carpenter said in A Cut Above the Rest, which is a great Halloween documentary. Yeah, we're away from that. We're gone from that. I mean, at this point, I in my opinion, I think, yeah, I don't think there's any way, that you can say that he could survive what has happened in Halloween 18 and Halloween Ends. So yes, I think that they've gotten away from that. But that just goes to, look, the more and more sequels you make, the more and more this is it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Halloween 5 and Halloween 6 are inevitable because you have to differentiate the story. Otherwise, you're just making the same movie over and over again. Carpenter famously said, I had to throw the brother-sister thing in there because I needed a twist because it felt like we were just making the same movie, just not as good. And so you have to kind of keep explaining things. The more and more sequels you make, the more and more you, like I said, you tear away at the fabric of what makes the character great. And the question is about Myers is he supernatural? It just all goes back to that. That's why the first movie is so great. Because we're asking ourselves that question: what is this guy? How could he get shot 6 times? He's gone off the lawn. You got that great look by Loomis. He doesn't say anything. He just stares into the, out into the. It's just great. It's a perfect ending. He's evil. He's everywhere. But yeah, this to me, I can't. People in the chat, let me know what you think. If you agree with me or not. If you don't agree with me, fine. But I think he's supernatural. What about you?
Yeah, I think I could have made an argument that, it was up for debate until the mob scene at the end.
Yeah.
like you said, um, point blank range.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Like
beating the
7
fuck out of
times.
him, like
Yeah.
7 times, like on shotgunning. This isn't a 50 cent situation.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's just not. And the reason I bring him up is he famously was shot. What I don't even know,
Right.
6 times or
And,
something.
and what's the percentage of people that are shot that many times to survive? It's like 2% or 1% or whatever. You
And
know what I'm
and they
saying? survive.
but they go to the goddamn hospital, man.
Exactly. Exactly. Um,
And then it's just it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Just watch that mob scene again and tell
yeah.
me he's not supernatural, getting shot by all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, the music kicks in, which is a cool scene
Well, they get
visually.
stabbed in the back of the neck by Karen. She
Yes,
stabs him like right in the back of the neck. I mean,
yes.
I just so yeah. I don't think there's any way that he's not supernatural. But again, that's what the original sequels got. We love Halloween 4, but let's be honest. And you and I, we've talked about this before, and we agree. Like it's it's one thing to say Myers survived the explosion at the end of Halloween 2, but Loomis survived it too. Jesus, I mean, does anybody who thinks that that's plausible? Have you watched the end of Halloween 2, 1981? Have you seen it? Because it's pretty fucking definitive that he's dead. And of course, that's the way it was written. That's the way it was intended by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter. And they brought him back in Halloween 4. And look, I'm not knocking them. I think Alan McElroy, who wrote Halloween 4, did the best job he could. I couldn't have done it any better. Alan did a great job. And I actually like Alan McElroy's the movies. He's a great writer. So he did the best job he could do in Halloween 4. But in Halloween 4, he is supernatural, no doubt. From that point on.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I believe before I knew you, in one of your videos, was it you? Maybe I was watching someone else that mentioned that originally in Halloween 4 they were gonna film how Loomis survived or something, refilm the ending of H2 where like Loomis gets blown through a window or something
they were
weird,
gonna.
right?
Yeah, they were gonna. So, and McElroy says this in the Scream Factory behind the scenes of Halloween 4, which is cool. If you've never watched those, they've had them for 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't know if they have them for 6 or whatever. But go watch them; they're cool. There's a lot of good insights. But Alan McElroy says he wanted to film a scene where it started with a couple of beats, and then you saw an explosion, and you saw Loomis come flying back towards the camera. Because what he wanted to do was tie into Halloween 2 and show you how yes, there was going to be a scene. I don't know if they filmed it or he just wrote it or they filmed it and obviously didn't make the movie, but yeah, so they were going to do that. And I don't know if that really would have changed my mind about it. I mean, again, at the end of Halloween 2, 1981, we see the flames shooting out of the mask. And yes, he comes walking out engulfed in flames, but he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, one more question for you, but first we got a couple super chats here. We got
right.
the Slasher Network.
Oh, I hate
That's
that guy.
Josh, right? Yeah.
I hate
Says
that
don't
guy.
spend the whole amount on booze. No promises, buddy. Seriously, thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
And then Bud Scarlatti sends in a super chat too. Bud, thanks, man.
Bud,
really appreciate it. These
Good
guys
man.
are these guys are affiliated with Halloween Verse guys. They have a YouTube channel themselves. Josh is on there all the time, or Josh is bumming around with them too. So
and they're friends of ours. They're on my channel.
Yeah, they're on Blaster's channel all the time. So,
Great
so
guys.
make sure you guys check
give them a follow on Twitter. Yep.
Yep. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Quick question. Not quick question. I made a video the other day on not really my thoughts, kind of just spitballing. What is up with the window? What is up with the window in the Myers house? What do you have any thoughts? Are you curious about it? Do you think they're even going to bring it up? Am I crazy
they're gonna bring
here?
It up. Yeah. I'm curious about it. Yeah. I think it's because you know what it is, because they were on it so heavily. The partner mentions to Hawkins that, you know, he used to see Michael stare out that window. He always wondered what he saw. Then when the partner got up and he was standing in front of that window, he was kind of in a trance. Then Karen was in a trance. There's something going on there.
Yep. And Karen was in a trance from the out. Isn't that why Karen went back inside? That's where she saw little Michael Myers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I don't know what, I have no idea what it is, but it is something. I will say this, and I think it is going to play a role in Halloween Ends. You know, is it I've heard people speculate it's a portal to another world. It's I don't think it's anything. I think it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe just look, it could be something where you're looking into your reflection or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's definitely something. There's you know, it's not nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm more curious about the window actually than about the radio tower.
Yeah, me too. Same.
And like you said, it was featured in the flashback, you know, and one thing that's kind of cool to think about, which I just thought about while you're talking, was, you know, when the partner is tranced in it before he gets attacked by Michael, you see Myers' footprints that were still there. So Michael had just got done. Michael just went through all the events of 78, and he goes home and stares out the window. It's fascinating. So, and then, you know, after Big John and Little John, after he killed them, he walked over to that window, right?
And it could be just like, well, for Myers, it could be something more when he's looking out that window. But for Karen and the partner, they could just be like, what does he see out there? You know, I'm curious. Like when you're standing there, what does he see out there? It could
is this the same window that the gutter crashed where Loomis gave the speech?
It is.
Or did Loomis give the speech on the stairs?
No. He gave a speech in Judith's room. Not sure if that's the window or there's another window in there. It might be the window. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting because, like you said, they wouldn't hit it so many times if it wasn't going to mean anything.
Yeah, they really harped.
Yeah. They knew that they were making 2 movies, so this isn't a Dominique situation. We'll let the next people figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, so they in theory
real quick.
That's
real quick. I want to you brought up Dominique real quick. That just a bit. There is one thing that leaked out about this movie. There is one thing. So if you don't want to hear this in the chat, you know, basically just mute us. But if it's spoiler. Okay, so the Myers house is going to be torn down. That Jamie Lee Curtis has confirmed that, and what it's going to be replaced with is this Gothic Victorian style mansion with a laundry chute and Sorry.
Oh God, could you imagine? I mean, that'd be a good callback.
That'd be a great callback.
Yeah, I would.
Why not? At this second point.
If they did it, I would laugh. You know, I wouldn't be. You know, normally I'd be like bitching about it, but I'd be like,
you know what? I wouldn't bitch about it either. I would actually laugh about it. I would laugh about it if they did it.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna take a few minutes and answer some questions. So I'm just gonna scroll through the chat a little bit, and we'll throw them out there. Shane Emerson, hey Shane, says, I love how the timeline of the Halloween franchise is a choose your own adventure. I'll let you talk about that in a second here. So it has become a choose your own adventure, which has become an asset in a manner of speaking, because, you know, when I'm in the mood for Halloween 3, I can watch that. When I'm in the mood for, you know, the Thorn trilogy, I can watch that. You know, that I assume is going to be called maybe the David Gordon Green trilogy.
Yep.
I'll watch that. But how they fell into this choose your own adventure was just incompetence, you know. So it's cool, but it's also kind of embarrassing.
Well, it was, yes, it was an accident. I mean, you got to think about it this way. You know, Halloween was never supposed to have a sequel. They had to sue John Carpenter to make Halloween 2. Then they wanted to go do an anthology thing, and then they didn't do that. They brought back Michael Myers because Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees were killing it in the 80s, so they wanted to bring back Myers. But yes, to Shane's point, yeah, I mean, and I think to what you just said, it does help the franchise, because people are thinking, where could they go after this? I've always said, and I still think this, make a proper sequel to Halloween 4. Present day, bring back Ellie, bring back Danielle. They can play Jamie Lloyd and Rachel Carruthers, and it would be great. And I think that there is a market for it. And I think, look, it doesn't have to be anything with a huge budget. It could be a small budget, but that would be something I would be willing to see. And that gets to Shane's question about the choose your own timeline. And I agree with him. You know, for me, when I think about the Halloween franchise, for me, it's 1 and 2. That's really what I think it is. If I want to, what movies will I watch going forward? I gotta be honest, I won't really watch 2018. I don't think, unless it's like on somewhere and I'm passing through. I may watch Kills only because I really liked Myers in that movie. I really did. I thought it was great. Halloween 4, I like Halloween 4, but and I thought about this. If this ties into this question, but if you took Halloween 5, Halloween 6, and Halloween Resurrection out from the original 8 movies, took those 3 movies out, you could have kept Halloween 4 as canon in Halloween H2O, and you probably would have had a better storyline. It probably would have added to the storyline. I think, like we said, they just got too far off the rails, and so yeah, that's why it turned into a choose your own adventure, because they wanted to ignore this Thorn trilogy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And just they've always, that's why David Gordon Green company, they wanted to get back to the roots, kind of like H2O wanted to, okay, we know those movies are there, but we want to get back to, early Michael Myers, not Thorn cult runes and Man in Black. And so.
Yep. I'm with you. Alicia Smith. Hey, Alicia. She's got a good comment here that I didn't really think about. She says Barry Sims makes a comeback. Technically, she's right. They could throw him in as the DJ in the radio tower, or something.
It would just
like
be
that.
A nod. Yeah, it'd be a nice nod.
Just a nod. Yeah. Yep. I wouldn't mind that. Like if they had the DJ called Barry Sims. Yeah.
Okay.
Greg Shepard brings up an interesting point that I had made a video on. I'd like to hear your thoughts. He says David Gordon Green says there's a twist in ends. He says maybe Jason Voorhees. I don't think it's going to be Jason Voorhees, but let's talk about that. So he just kind of hinted at, I don't think he meant the twist as in, what I said in my videos, like it's not an M. Night Shyamalan twist,
Yeah.
But what do you think that could mean? Any thoughts on that? It's hard to think about something like that, just off the cuff. But it's an interesting comment he made.
Well, I did the video where I said the twist is it was all a dream, and Voorhees going to wake up, because I played off of what you said in your video.
That's right.
And yeah,
I made too many damn ends videos doing.
I know, seriously. And then some people were like, well, how would she dream about text messages in the cars and all this other? And I'm like, all right, that's a good point. All right, fine. But yeah, I don't know. The twist ending, I think the more I'm thinking about it, I think the twist is going to be, and this is what I think. This is, I'm more and more I'm thinking about this, more and more I'm convinced that the evil is going to be passed to a little kid, and that's going to be the twist. That I think that's what I think it is going to be.
Yeah, I mean that would accomplish a couple things. It would, give a little nod to H4, and that is twisty. So, but it's not like super like Myers wasn't Myers the whole time, or something crazy or some Scooby-Doo ending.
Right.
So yeah, you may be right on that.
Yeah. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too. Bud says the twist is that it was all in a snow globe from the mind of a little kid. What are you drinking tonight?
Jesus, Bud.
Okay, so Byron Weaver. Hey, Byron. Says, what if they pull a Halloween 4 like what they did with Jamie Lloyd, but they do it with Allison? So Allison kills an innocent person. I guess
so he's saying Allison would be the new Jamie. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, Byron, we thought that was going to be the case. Remember, we all thought that at the end of 18 when she's holding the knife, we're like, oh, that's cool. She's kind of a nod. I don't think it's going to be Allison. I don't think so. It'd be cool. Again, like Nick says, it's always in the execution. But yeah, it could be interesting. Could be. I mean, listen, Allison's been through a lot of shit. So it could be. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. But
I think the ending of 18 when she's gripping the knife, I think that was more symbolic.
Yeah.
That, Laurie dropped the knife multiple times.
Correct.
In 78. And I think they were showing, okay, now, now this girl, they've been through hell, and it's a different world now, 40 years later. She ain't letting go of that damn knife. But I wouldn't be surprised if Allison is a little rougher in this movie, especially at the beginning. More angry at the world. Grandma was right. I need to be prepared. I'm
agreed. Agreed. I think we're gonna see a weathered
And then,
Allison, or
yeah, and then
yeah.
maybe at the end, instead of her becoming, a killer, maybe it's kind of the opposite, where she kind of rediscovers her reason to live, or
Yeah.
whatever, because her grandma sacrifices herself, or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
So
True.
yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna go for about 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Let's see who else we got here. We got Greg Shepard. I did see one. 1 second, guys. James Moran. Hey, James.
James,
when
man.
Yeah, James is a loyal guy.
Yeah, loves Jaws 4. James is a big Jaws 4 guy.
James says when they kept adding to the backstory to Michael Myers, it took away from the character.
Yeah,
I think
100%,
we can
buddy.
all agree on that.
100%
Adam Howard's here.
correct.
Hey, Adam.
Yep.
Ronnie says Rocky survived that beating from Apollo. I think he's referring to us in the mob scene. That's fair, but God.
I just laugh because my dad used to always say when we watched Rocky 2, he would say, look, he stops every punch with his face.
All right, guys, we are gonna start wrapping up here, but real quick, a couple of things. Number one, if you guys like Halloween Ends content, we have a lot more coming, both myself and Jake Blaster here on both of our channels, and we're gonna keep collaborating in the meantime. Sure. Blaster, if you want to kind of talk about what you got planned for the Road to Ends, and then kind of just give us a quick plug for your channel like you did, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, so the Road to Ends is going to be, the Road to Kills was we watched all the movies leading up to Halloween Kills. This is not going to be, we're not going to be watching the movies again because we've already done that. But what we're going to do is it's kind of going to be like we're going to talk about each movie. So April 27th is the first one. We're going to talk about Halloween, the original. We're going to talk about, we're going to give our best scenes, our worst scenes, our best kills, our worst kills, kind of talk about the movies, maybe throw out some trivia questions to you guys. And it's going to just be like a live discussion about each movie. Things we like, things we don't, stuff like that. And that's kind of what I envision it to be. I just didn't want to rewatch all the movies again because those, like, if you want to watch them, they're on my channel. They're funny. You can watch us all watch these movies and watch along with us. But so, yeah, that's going to be the Road to Ends. It's going to start April 27th. And then, check out my channel, Jake Blaster Productions. Like I said, if you like Halloween, definitely I've got a lot more wacky theories coming out until they come out with something, solid that we can glom onto, but they haven't done that yet. So, but yeah, Halloween, Cobra Kai is all on my channel, 80s stuff. And
So April 27th, you said, is when we're going to be talking.
That's the OG.
So you are making me choose between talking about the OG Halloween and celebrating my dad's birthday. Man, you are evil.
That's the kind of friend I am.
That's a tough call. I don't know how many.
Just call your dad, wish him a happy birthday. Just call him and say happy birthday, Dad, and that's it.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on here. It's been a lot of fun.
No problem, buddy. Thanks for having me on. I'm honored to be the first guest.
Yes. First, and this, you're not invited back after this.
I figured as much.
No, I'm just kidding, buddy. It's been great. So, you guys in the chat, you've been awesome. Raul Ramirez, right back at you, pal. And thanks for watching, guys. We will talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.